Welcome to Real Estate Marketing Ideas for 2025. And this is part one, building the foundation to stand out, get noticed, and own your own market. Most agents jump straight into marketing without ever defining what makes them different. If you don't know your unique value, how can your audience? This episode is all about setting the foundation so your marketing actually works. For those of you who don't know me, I'm Sheila Alston. I'm the founder of Healthy Home Media, and I help agents all over the country level up their marketing to engage and attract more business, not by being top of mind, but by being memorable. What's the difference between a real estate agent who's constantly chasing business and one who attracts it effortlessly? It's not luck. It's not the market. It's positioning. Most agents skip the most important step in marketing. They never take the time to clarify what makes them different. So instead of standing out, they're blending in. Instead of being the go-to expert, they're just another name in the sea of agents. If you feel like your marketing isn't working or you're just not getting enough traction, this episode is for you. We're going to set the foundation so that everything you do, social media, video, email, print, actually makes an impact. Because if you're not saying something that actually resonates with people, you're just creating more noise. And who wants to do that? Are you a secret agent? If people don't know what you do, they can't work with you. So here's the belief that most agents get from that. I just need to tell everyone I'm an agent and get in front of them as much as I can. No, you can be doing that every single day and you still would be a secret agent because you're forgetting the most important ingredient. Want to know what that is? Sales. At the end of the day, you're a salesperson. You are solving problems by finding solutions and offering them up so your clients can make the best informed choices for them. But if you aren't having real estate related conversations every day and reminding people that you're a real estate agent and what's your value, then you aren't prospecting or selling. You are just making friends and building relationships, which is still really great. But believe me, you can spend years in the building relationship phase of your business and never get a sale. So you can have people who rave about how kind you are, how great you are, what a great person you are. But you want them to rave about how you're a killer agent and you saved them thousands of dollars, or you made the home buying process or selling process super easy and painless. That's what you want them to say about you. So let me ask you this. How many real estate related conversations are you having each week? Crickets. And when you do talk to people, do they actually understand what you do and why they should work with you? That's really important. Most agents are either invisible or they're blending in. They just post just sold or just listed graphics on social media. They network and they make connections, but they might even wear their I'm a realtor t-shirt or hashtag realtor hat. And if that's all they're doing, then they're missing the boat because those tactics don't convey to people why they should hire them. So when someone actually needs an agent, they don't really think of them. So if you're in that boat, here's why. You haven't given people a clear reason to choose you. Your brand messaging is inconsistent or worse, non-existent. You're just an agent instead of the agent for a specific niche or community or purpose. The goal, when someone in your network thinks about real estate, your name should be the first one that comes to mind, right? So let's talk about how to make that happen. Why building a personal brand as a realtor is essential and why you already have one, whether you know it or not. So most agents don't have a clear brand because they haven't ever really thought about it. It's not something that they teach you when you get your license, and your broker really wants to promote their brand, so they're not really going to train you on this either. But defining your personal brand is so important. The truth is, you already have a brand, even if you haven't intentionally developed it. Your brand isn't your logo, colors, or your social media posts. It's what people think of you when they hear your name. So if you haven't defined your brand, your marketing is doing it for you based on whatever little bits they know about you. And this means that you could just be seen as another agent instead of the go-to expert in your niche. And why your personal brand matters more than ever is people choose agents they trust, not just agents they like and know. Know, like, and trust factor used to be the gold standard, but today people know, like, and trust several agents. The question is, why should they choose you? A strong personal brand that answers that question gives people a logical reason to work with you instead of someone else. Are you the go-to expert in a specific neighborhood? Do you specialize in first-time home buyers, luxury, or wellness real estate? Do you have a unique process that makes buying or selling easier? If you can't answer that, your potential clients can't either, and that's the problem. And a lot of agents think too that they don't really want to niche down. They don't want to specify a specific thing because what if somebody comes to them and they're not in that group? They can't help them. And of course, that's not what I'm saying. You can help everyone and everyone. But think about this. If you wanted to lose weight and you were looking for a trainer, would you click on the ad that said, I can help people lose weight? Or would you click on the link that says, I'm a personal trainer who helps my clients lose 10 pounds in a month with only 15-minute exercises. I don't know. It's something very specific. Of course, you would click on the specific. You wouldn't click on the one that says, I'll help someone lose weight. It's too generic. So just like that, your marketing messaging needs to be talking to someone, and you can create messaging that talks to this person and this person and this person and this person if you help lots of different people. But you do want to make sure that you're talking to one person. So being really generic, like I help everybody buy us, there's just too many things that you're not saying then that makes it so that you're not resonating with anyone. So just think of your marketing as a message, right? That you're trying to attract certain people. So if you could attract your ideal client, you're going to want to go through and think about who your ideal client is, right? So marketing is easier when you do have a clear brand. If you're struggling to create content, write emails, or know what to post on social media, it's probably because your brand isn't clear. When you have a defined brand, you know what to say and how to position yourself. Your messaging stays consistent across your platforms. You attract the right clients instead of chasing leads. So instead of asking, what should I post today? Your brand kind of gives you direction. So you become memorable and referable. The biggest threat to your business isn't competition, it's being forgotten. A strong brand means that when someone in your sphere hears the words real estate, your name should be the first one that comes to mind. Think about it. If your past clients or network don't have a strong association with what you do and how you do it differently, they won't think to refer you. And if you're relying on just that, then that might be why your business is slow. And just want to make sure that we understand that we're not discriminating here either when we're targeting our message. We're not saying that you don't help certain groups of people. We're just talking to a certain person because that's how you market to someone, that you want them to think, oh, she's talking to me. And you can only do that if you're being very specific. So like I said, you can create different messages to different people in different groups. So let's say you help first-time home buyers, but let's also say that you help busy professionals, and you can say that you help families, But when you're talking to families, you don't want to talk about what the busy professionals are thinking or the first-time home buyers are thinking if you're working in a family neighborhood that's maybe in a price point that first-time home buyers mostly can't afford. That wouldn't make sense, right? So you just want to think about talking to one person. So when you're creating a specific message. A personal brand will protect you from market shifts because markets change and the way people find agents changes, but your brand is what keeps people coming back to you no matter what's happening. If your business is solely built on paid ads or chasing leads, what happens when the market slows down? If your brand is built on relationships, value, and authority, you stick around because you're going to be in demand even in the shifting markets. A strong brand turns one-time clients into lifelong referrals, and that's, of course, what we want, right? So here's the power of defining your brand in 3 simple steps. So the first step is, who do you help? Who's your ideal client? Are you working with first-time home buyers, luxury clients, investors, eco-conscious home owners? Who do you actually want to work with? If you are in the wellness real estate side, there's a lot of people, there's a growing demand for people to help homeowners who have sensitivities or chronic conditions. And they're finding that there's a lot of homes that have mold and they just don't have any knowledgeable real estate agents who can help them. So there's a growing trend of holistic realtors who are learning tools and expanding their knowledge and network so they can provide a better service for those people. so that they can feel confident knowing that they're moving into a healthy home. And so if you're interested in that, that's a huge growing niche. Stay tuned and subscribe to this channel because I love talking about that kind of stuff too. So who do you actually want to work with? The clearer you are, the easier it is to market yourself. And then number two is, how do you help them? What's your unique process or approach? And, even if your approach is similar to every other agent, it does help to write down exactly what your approach is. Because I will assure you that not every, buyer meeting is the same. It depends on the questions you're asking. And, not a lot of agents even have buyer meetings. And not a lot of agents do a showing the same way. Like I know one of my holistic realtors, she actually goes in to a house that they're looking, and she has her kit with her because she has a lot of clients that reach out to her who have sensitivities, mold sensitivities and EMF sensitivities and all sorts of things. So they're seeking her out because there's not very many agents who do this. So she has a kit with her, and she'll tell them to go at the open house, or not the open house, but go through the showing and you go search for the house. I'm going to do my own thing. And she'll get out her tools and she'll look in the crannies and she'll look for things. She has like red light glasses, and she'll look for moisture just so that when they come back and say they love the house, she's not going to alarm them, but she's going to say, hey, if you like this house, I want to make sure that when we do the inspection that we're going to look at this spot, this spot, this spot, and this might be a concern. So wow, the people walk away from that going, she knows her stuff. Geez, and she's just pointed out some red flags for us. And it's not, if we love this house, we're going to just make sure that we have the inspector look at that. So if it is a problem, we can negotiate that before we buy the house instead of it being a surprise, right? So that's really adding value. So think about what's your unique process and approach to things. And why should they work with you is kind of the third step. This is your unfair advantage. What do you bring to the table that no one else does? Maybe you have a deep local expertise. Maybe you specialize in wellness real estate because that's a growing trend. And so you're connecting with healthy home professionals so that you can be the connector for everything home. If someone's remodeling, you can connect them with healthy home professionals so that they're buying products that maybe don't have VOCs that are off-gassing in their child's face who has asthma. Like, wouldn't it be great if you could tell somebody that and they're like, wow, that agent really cares about me. Anyway, so think about what your unfair advantage is. And if you're a newer agent, or if you don't feel like you have an unfair advantage, I'm sure that you do. Like you have strengths, and it could be personality traits. It could be that you just are such a go-getter and you just really want to help people. You can turn that into language that people understand, where you're really going to go the extra mile for them. So just think about what your strengths are and how you can turn that into messaging for your brand. So once you have these three answers, your brand becomes more clear and your marketing becomes more powerful. So if you want a simple way to instantly clarify your brand and make your marketing easier, you're going to create your own brand blueprint. And this is a one-page document that defines your niche and your messaging and your story and your differentiators. It makes every piece of marketing that you create from that easier because it's all kind of on your page, so you always remember what it is. And it's going to help you when you're, doing your videos to kind of look at that again and remember what it is you're supposed to say. So inside your brand blueprint, you're going to have your one-liner. It's how you introduce yourself in a way that gets attention. You're going to have what your core message is, what makes you different. You're going to have your niche and your ideal client in there, and your signature process, whatever that is, and maybe your brand personality and values. So that should be what's in your blueprint. And here's an example of some of my one-liners that I say, and it changes depending on who I'm talking to. So I'm Sheila Alston. I'm the founder of Healthy Home Media, and I help agents all over the country level up their marketing to engage and attract more business by not being just top of mind, but by being memorable. Or I'll say, I help forward-thinking agents leverage the fastest growing trend in real estate to stand out and start attracting more leads and sales. Or I say, I help holistic or wellness-focused agents find clarity and confidence in their brand messaging so they can start attracting and serving the clients that need them most. those were ones that it took me a while to come up with those. So don't be discouraged if you're doing yours and it's not coming really fast. Just work on it, practice it. The best thing is to really practice saying it to people and see what they say. Like, if they're paying attention or if they don't care, or, you can ask a good friend. It's a good way to, talk about your business with people too that you're really close to. You can say, I'm really trying to differentiate myself and stand out, and I'm going through this personal brand. Would you mind giving me some feedback on what I'm coming up with? And people love to help with stuff like that, right? So the good news is I have a free brand blueprint workbook for you, so you don't have to stare at a blank page and start from scratch. It walks you through this process step by step, and it's actually way more in depth than just those 3 things I gave you. So simply go to healthyhomemedia.com and click on free resources, and you're going to see the brand blueprint there. And like I said, it's actually way more in depth than what we covered here. So be sure to go and get it, because it'll give you tons of examples for inspiration as well. So let's assume you've just finished your blueprint. Let's make sure you're talking about it in a way that actually sticks. So what do you say to people so that they actually remember you? You're going to practice your one-liner, remember that. If you don't know who Don Miller is, he wrote an amazing marketing book that I love, and it's called Building a Story Brand. If you don't have it, I recommend highly to go get it. I would say get the Audible version because he's the author and he actually reads it. So, and he's really great to listen to. So go get that. It's really helpful. But he uses elements of great story writing to use in your marketing so that you can create a clear, concise, and compelling brand story that hooks people into wanting to learn more. So, for example, I remember this story he told about an at-home chef. He said, imagine if you were at a cocktail party and someone says, what do you do for a living? And someone says, oh, I'm an at-home chef. And then they say, oh, that's great. And they might talk about, well, what kind of food do you cook? And they might ask you some questions because you don't really hear about at-home chefs very often. So that's kind of intriguing. But most often than not, people will think, oh, that's great. I met someone new. And then you forget about them and maybe you get their card or whatever, and that's it. But what if instead he used his one-liner instead of just saying, I'm a stay-at-home chef? What if instead someone opened with a problem and said, you know how it's such a fast-paced time that we live in, and nobody seems to have enough time to have a healthy meal and sit down around the table and connect with their children. Everybody seems to be so busy these days. People are like, yeah, that's so true, right? So then he says, well, I'm an at-home chef. And so I basically help people by making nutritious and healthy meals so that they can connect with their children more regularly during the week. And people are like, wow, that's really cool. And they start thinking, wow, I want that, or I certainly know people who need that, right? That it gets them thinking that. And then also he says he gives them a plan right away. He says it's super simple. I just basically meet with them and get their food preferences. I'll cook them a meal, and then we'll put together a plan and see how often they want me to come. And I let them try my food first. And then we just set up how many times you want me to come a week or a month. And it's as easy as that. And then people go, oh my gosh. And if someone said that, people would be thinking, I need that service, or I know someone who needs that service. And they will get that card and remember that in a way that not like, oh, that was a cool dude, but oh, I want to give that information to someone who needs that service, or I'm going to go check out their website and I'm going to hire you. So that's the power of a one-liner. So I want you to think about this. Most agents introduce themselves like this. I'm a real estate agent in whatever city. And so if you ever need to buy or sell a home, you just let me know. Boring, forgettable, sounds like every other agent. Instead, let's make it stick. What if you said, I help busy professionals relocate to whatever city without the stress so they can start their next chapter with confidence, right? So that's a great one-liner. And it would be even better if you started with a problem, whatever problem it was. Or so what if your one-liner is, I specialize in helping families move up to their dream home without having to sell or buy first. So in that example, you could start with saying there's so many families that need a bridge loan or that can't afford to buy or that, these contingent offers just don't work, whatever it is. Start with the problem and then you say that. Or, here's another example. I help anyone who wants to buy or sell a home, but I really love helping folks who have chronic health conditions find a healthy home that helps them thrive. So in every single case, every single one of these examples, it invites people into a story where they might think, I know someone like that, or I'm interested in that, and they're going to ask more questions. So when you introduce yourself with a clear statement like this, people remember you, and more importantly, they know who to refer to you. These are my final thoughts. Marketing gets easy when you know what to say. If marketing feels hard, it's usually because you don't have a clear message. But once you define your brand, everything falls into place. You know what to post, you know what to say in videos, and you know how to show up in your market with confidence. Real estate marketing this year isn't about doing more. It's about doing the right things that are the right message, and that starts here. So now that you've got your brand foundation in place, or you know where to go to get it in place, get excited because part 2, we're going to dive into marketing strategies that actually work. So in the next episode, we're going to break down old school versus new school marketing and show you exactly how to get leads this year. Make sure you subscribe by hitting the bell so that you can get notified when the next part 2 is available. Thanks for watching. Thank you so much for listening to today's episode. I hope you learned something new that will inspire you to think about your branding and how you can market yourself a little differently. If you enjoyed this episode, then you're going to love what I have for you, because you don't need to wait to go get extra certifications or to grow and expand your network to get started attracting those new leads right now. You can simply begin by talking about wellness real estate trends and what you've learned on this podcast with others. I mean, this is pretty interesting stuff that no one has heard about, and I have all the tools that can make it even easier for you. Wellness Real Estate Magazine is a brand new wellness lifestyle magazine, and it's the only magazine that brings health and home together. We educate readers on industry trends and how to create a healthier home environment, written by industry experts around the country. And we have 3 covers to choose from: Wellness RE, Healthy Home, and Wellness at Home, so you can easily find one that aligns with your unique brand and messaging. These magazines are the perfect done-for-you tools that help you not only stay top of mind, but they educate and engage your audience, which positions you as an industry expert. Differentiate yourself and grow your brand the easy way. Learn more at healthyhomemedia.com.